Will democracy survive the next couple of years?
Essentially, we are the same.
There are so many needs that Minnesota has.
What people are saying they need right now.
Access to Democracy is made possible in part by a donation from Firefly Credit Union. Firefly is the new name of U.S. Federal Credit Union, which has proudly served the financial needs of the greater Twin Cities community since 1925. At Firefly, we guide our members forward and give them the power to chase dreams by delivering the financial solutions they need to get ahead. From checking accounts to mortgages, we'll light the way. We are Firefly Credit Union, and this is life illuminated. By Thomson Reuters, providing legal professionals with intelligence, technology, and human expertise they need to find trusted answers. Thomson Reuters, the answer company. Online at thomsonreuters.com. And Dr. Charles Crutchfield of award-winning Crutchfield Dermatology in Eagan. Acknowledged as one of the nation's best physicians, a Minnesota native who trained at the Mayo Clinic, Dr. Crutchfield personally treats all patients and states that experience counts and quality matters. Crutchfield Dermatology, look good, feel great, with beautiful skin.
Welcome. Access to Democracy returns. Alan Miller with you, and it's always a pleasure to have a first-time guest. And with us today is Ravi Rai, who is with the Toastmasters organization. And interestingly enough, in 20 years and over 2,000 interviews like this, it's always a pleasure to find something new. And this is the first time for Toastmasters on this show, so welcome.
Thank you.
Why don't you give us a little bit of background on yourself, and then we'll talk about Toastmasters.
Sure thing, Alan. So, my name is Ravi Rai. I grew up in India, and when I was in India, I always wanted to be part of the extracurricular activities. That's what we call as debate clubs and all those fun things. So in college, I was always looking for ways to improve my skills, challenge my skills, and that is where my interest grew in sort of public speaking, stage presence. And when I completed my higher studies, my engineering, I came to United States for higher studies in 1992. And I completed my master's, moved to the cities, and there were a few people who were just starting something. I had no idea what it was, so I just went to their meeting, and we started what we call as a Toastmaster Club.
Now, you went to Bangalore University, right?
Bangalore University, yes.
And you got your first degree.
Yes.
Then you came here, and you got your master's.
Yes.
And you picked up something else along the way while you were here in Minnesota, and I think you're married to her.
That is correct.
And when did that happen?
Well, believe it or not, it happened through Toastmasters. Yeah, my wife, Catherine, she had just moved into the cities. She was looking for ways to network, meet people, and we were looking for members. So she just happened to visit our club, our friendship grew, and we became a couple.
Now, tell us about Toastmasters. What is Toastmasters? And we know it's not something that you drop the slices of bread in. So explain to us just what it is.
Sure. So Toastmasters organization was started by Ralph Smedley, a gentleman back in 1924. And it has grown into an organization which has about 360,000 plus members all over the world. It's in 143 countries. There are over 16,000 clubs. And in Minnesota, there are over 300 clubs. So a Toastmaster is basically a club where a group of individuals meet to hone their public speaking skills, communication skills, as well as the leadership skills. It's a program where you define at what pace you want to go, you get peer feedback, and what we consider is an hour-long meeting, well structured, where you get to present speeches, do some impromptu speaking, and get some feedback.
So you critique the members on their speeches?
That is correct.
Now, you're coming up internationally on the 100th birthday. Is that correct?
We will be in 24 in 4 years, 4 to 5 years, yes.
It's one of the few things around here older than me. And you said internationally in how many countries?
143 countries.
And the membership's got to be huge.
Yes, it's about 367,000.
With 300 clubs in Minnesota alone?
Mm-hmm.
That's more than we have, only 87 counties in Minnesota. So,
Believe it or not, most of our clubs are concentrated, well, we are spread all over. Our district, the district that I'm part of, is southern Minnesota, which is one district with about 150 clubs and 2,600 members. So those clubs are, while it's very much, it follows the population, so the Twin Cities has most number of clubs. And as you go away from the cities, say Pipestone or even Austin, then you have one club in small towns.
and how often do these clubs meet?
Most of the clubs meet twice a month, but there are many clubs we recommend meet every week. And most of the meetings are 1 hour, but there are certain clubs who meet for 90 minutes, 2 hours, and in some cases 2.5 hours.
Okay, now take us inside a normal meeting. Would it be a lunchtime meeting, or is there a specific time that works better than other times?
Well, what we have seen is we have two types of clubs. One is the corporate clubs and the other is community clubs. So the community clubs usually meet in the evenings, usually. But it is up to the group how they decide when they want to meet, how they want to meet. The goal of Toastmasters is to make every club be self-sufficient. You learn how to govern, you form the rules. Of course, we follow Robert's Rules of Order. However, we are self-sufficient, we self-govern ourselves. So if you go to a Toastmasters meeting, you will be greeted as a guest. You are not obligated to be part of any of the roles. If you are called on to say, give a table topics response, you can always say, I would like to pass. But a meeting would start with somebody called a Toastmaster, who is like an emcee who controls the whole meeting. He invites the speaker who are on the agenda. They give 5 to 7 minute speeches each. And then this middle section is usually what we call as impromptu speaking, where one member will give random questions. You are not expected to know those questions. And you give 1 to 2 minute responses. And it is as if you are getting up in your chair and you have to think on your feet and come up with a very structured response. And after that, you will hear what you mentioned, critique. So we give positive feedback as well as areas of improvement to the speakers. And we wind up our meeting by getting a report from people who have, somebody counts ahs and ums, all those filler words, and a person will report on the timing. So that is how the whole
You see
meeting
that in
is.
our politicians a lot, where people will say and then and it is very annoying.
It is.
So
Some clubs actually, Alan, go to the extent of telling you at that moment by hitting a desk or hitting a button to let you know, hey, you used a filler word. We don't
another
do that.
one is,
Yeah,
there are people, even I can think of one of my children who usually adds onto every sentence or every other sentence, and that too is quite annoying,
I agree.
And now, who finances Toastmasters?
Actually, Toastmasters is a non-profit organization. We are all volunteers. So what we do is we have a membership fee, and Toastmasters provides the structure. We get a Toastmaster magazine, as well as the administration is covered by a membership fee that every member pays. So a membership fee is actually $7.50 a month for every member, and there is a one-time fee of $20.
And if you pay your whole $7.50 a month for the year in advance, do you get a discount?
No, but we do encourage people to pay 6 months at a time.
How about seniors discounts?
Unfortunately, Alan, we don't have that.
Oh.
And I would definitely request Toastmaster to consider some leeway for senior citizens, absolutely.
Now, there are different grades of people, like officers in Toastmasters, and I know you have won a specific award 4 times. What was that?
Well, there are a couple of things that happen in Toastmasters. As a club officer, there are certain roles within the officer. So you have a president who oversees the whole club. Second is the vice president of education that takes care of the program. Membership takes care of the membership needs. Public relations talks to the outside world. Then there are secretary, treasurer, and sergeant at arms. Outside of the club, there are 6 to 7 clubs, which is managed by a person called area director, which I served. Then there are 6 to 7 areas which a division director handles. And our district comprises of 5 divisions. So I started by serving the entire district as a club growth director. The next year I became a program quality director. And this year I'm serving as a district director, which is the topmost position in a district.
And District 6, which is the one that you head, encompasses what area?
So District 6 is Minneapolis and everything south of I-94. So we are considered the southern portion of Minnesota. And it goes from Hudson Bay all the way to the western part of the state.
And these officers, elections?
Every year in the month of May, we have elections who serve from July 1st all the way through June 30th of next year.
Are these contested elections? Do we have campaigns as we would in a political situation?
Absolutely. Sometimes they are very contentious too. But Toastmasters has a rule that you just cannot bombard members with flyers. You can only contact them twice a year. And there are specific rules where you can put your posters, how much time you have. And even at the district events, you are timed. So if you speak for more than 2 minutes, they will clap you down.
Is somebody sitting there with a stopwatch?
Absolutely. Every meeting, every event. That's the beauty of Toastmasters, that we respect time. We want to start on time and end on time, and every event.
But the thing that intrigues me about it is that the purpose is really to build self-confidence, and it's got to, in a way, make you a better citizenship. And I would think it's a precursor to somebody who wants to run for political office, that something like Toastmasters would really help them with their public speaking.
Absolutely. So I'd like to give a response in 2 parts. One is the citizenship. When I got my citizenship, I still remember my judge. He encouraged all of us who were taking the oath to serve the community. And I chose Toastmaster as a way to serve the community. The politicians, I think one benefit of Toastmaster that politician can have by joining Toastmasters is that you learn to manage your time. Instead of going on and on, rambling on, Toastmasters teaches you to form your thoughts quickly and organize them and present them in a well-structured way. So I think the politicians will benefit by Toastmasters.
Have you had any of our local politicians, I don't need names, who have passed through Toastmasters?
Absolutely. Actually, we had 2 senators that I can remember, and we also I know few friends who are in city council, or they are in some sort of a local governing bodies.
So obviously that speaks for itself.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Toastmasters, however, is not your entire life.
That is correct.
And as I say to people often, what do you do in the real world?
In the real world, the first thing I do is I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I enjoy my family.
How many children?
I have 1 daughter. She is out of college, into a job, so we are empty nesters, and we have been really enjoying our time. But apart from that, I also work as a supervisor in minute services with the state at Department of Human Services.
In what capacity?
So I'm the supervisor of a database administration team. So anytime you have all this data that sits there that needs to be managed, our team does that.
And that's for the state of Minnesota?
Yes.
So obviously you had to work your way up in that regard also.
Yes. And that is where Toastmasters played a role. because Toastmasters, any management requires the skill of managing a workforce, a team, and Toastmasters gave me that tool because anytime you have a group of people, there are going to be difference in opinions, ways of doing things, and by that, I got that experience from managing the team that helped me with other leadership training that I got within the state to help me become better leader and present my thoughts clearly and efficiently.
And in addition to that, for instance, if a politician is taking Toastmasters or joining a Toastmasters group, they're actually meeting some people and learning to deal with people, which is so important for a politician to begin with.
That is very true.
So let's do a test. You have 2 minutes to tell us why Toastmasters would fit in your life, and not your life individually, but I'm a stranger who just walked into a meeting and I need a sales pitch as to how is Toastmasters going to help me?
Sure, Alan.
And we're timing you.
Absolutely. You can give me a green card at 1 minute. Alan, Toastmasters is an organization where we have individuals that come from all parts of life. And this is something that enriches our culture. We build a community. And not only that, we enrich individual lives. We have people who require communication skills, not only in their daily lives, but with their families, at their workplace, in the businesses, and outside of that, even in the community. So you and I are part of this community, and the way we build this community, a healthier and efficient community, is being part of some organization where we shared interest. Toastmasters will give you that platform where you can organize your thoughts, you get positive feedback, and it uplifts you. So I would say Toastmasters is an organization which you may consider joining.
Did you say green card, 1 minute?
Yes.
Okay.
After we have brought you in as a member, we'll assign you a mentor who actually understands your needs and helps develop those skills which you don't see. The mentor will bring that out in you. After you have gained a few levels, you can start working on leadership outside of Toastmasters Club. And that is where you begin to meet people from all walks of life. So if you are looking for networking, Toastmasters provides you with that. Building up community is very essential. So when you build your relationship with other Toastmasters, you also become a good communicator, a good citizen. So I would urge you to be part of our group, to just not only enrich your lives, but enrich the lives of the whole community.
And you did that in 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for timing me.
It's very interesting. What do you do, say somebody comes in with an impediment, somebody is stuttering, and they want to deal with their stuttering, but they also want to become more a part of the organization and gain self-confidence through it. That's got to be something that you have handled over the years.
Actually, yes. In fact, if I go back a few years, I would say 10 years, one of our District 6 speech champion was a person who actually stammered. And he overcame that stammering by actually becoming part of Toastmaster, where he got sort of encouragement, positive feedback. And as Toastmasters, one item that we really learn to do is listen. So we are not always pushing you, not making fun or any such thing that will make you uncomfortable. So I think any impediments needs a lot of encouragement, and that is where Toastmasters organization comes as a big benefit. And we all understand the impediment, so we work with you, not to highlight the impediment, but to highlight the strengths you have.
Now, do you go around to all the groups within District 6, sort of as an ex officio, or?
We do, actually. So the district director, the district leadership goes whenever there is an important event or when we organize a group-led event. But the key leaders, such as area directors, they actually represent the district leadership. So they are, every 6 to 7 club has an area director who actually make the representation. Personally, Alan, I like to visit clubs because I like to meet new people. So yes, I will be visiting about 20 to 30 clubs during my tenure as district director.
And do you have competitions or debates among different clubs testing out the abilities of people?
I'm glad you asked. Actually, there is something called World Championship of Public Speaking that starts at the club level. So the club has a contest. The best speaker is still actually voted. They go to the area, from area to division to district, and then from district they go compete with all the other championship around the world. And the final stage is for 10 people, and one of them is crowned World Championship of Public Speaking.
Now you have a lot of different languages obviously involved in 140 countries. How do we overcome the language differential?
So each club can manage their affairs in their own language. It can be Spanish, Greek, Chinese, and Tamil. There are many languages. But when it comes to competitions such as international speaking competition, that is conducted in English. So we have to sort of do some compromise, or I should say, a way to measure so our judges can understand them. So we choose English as that. But outside of that, Alan, the clubs can have their own competition in the language they choose.
And in these international competitions, or in these competitions, do these people choose a topic, or is a topic thrown at them and then see how they handle it?
Actually, they choose any topic they want. It can be humorous, it can be motivational, inspirational, something about their life, anything they choose. But the judges have a judging criteria.
Political?
Yes, you are welcome to give a political speech if you choose to. However,
You mean I could come to a meeting and talk about our president?
you sure can.
It wouldn't be, well, it won't be obscene, but,
So
but it might be close.
it will. But here is the thing, the evaluation or the feedback that we give you is not on what you spoke, but your style, how you were received by people. So that gives us a way to give feedback to even a topic where you and I can disagree with.
And humor, I would think, is very helpful in some of these discussions.
Absolutely. In fact, Alan, when I coach individuals who are improving their public speaking skills, who want to be professional speakers, I always emphasize on the importance of the humor, how to loosen up the audience, how to make them comfortable before you have a serious message. So we definitely employ humor.
Even somebody who wanted to become a comedian, I would think, would get great help from really founding or finding Toastmasters and getting grounded in what you have to offer.
Absolutely. And that is where there are two competitions, such as humorous speech competition as well as what we call as tall tales. Those are perfect for stand-up comedians or anybody who is in the humorous area.
Now, it's interesting. You were here today as a result of a former student of mine who actually came today and is with you, Carrie Barless, who was a student of mine at what was then Minneapolis Community and Technical College and is now a Minneapolis College in the screenwriting field. Mm-hmm. And she has taken that career and she's moved on into the health field. But she's also become very active with Toastmasters in the last year or so.
Yep. I feel that Carrie brings in a lot of skills that we all need, and she's our public relations manager, so she represents our organization to anyone who is asking about what this organization is all about. Apart from that, helping clubs to develop their public relations skills.
So where does your club meet, your particular club?
So I belong to two clubs. My home club is actually in Eagan. It meets at Think Bank on first and third Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And Think Bank has been very gracious to allow us to meet. And it's a wonderful facility. We are a very informal group, and people are welcome to be part of that anytime. And my second club is actually Lakeville Toastmasters, close to where I live. And that is, again, thanks to Exit Realty. They provide the facility for us to meet.
I would think public libraries would also be a good place for your meetings to take place.
Yep. In fact, our club used to meet at Galaxy Library, but we started competing with so many other groups, so we had to find another home.
Now, If I walk into a Toastmasters club, is there an agenda for today's meeting?
There is always an agenda.
And who arranges the agenda and what does it encompass?
So an agenda actually is managed by what we call as the person, Vice President of Education. And he actually assigns the roles on a rotating basis to members. So a person gets to try one role in one meeting and another role in a different meeting. And your agenda will be roughly divided into 3 sections. The first section is for speakers, the second is for table topics, and third is for evaluations. So that is what you'll see in an agenda, and we go down to the minute by adjusting times for about 30 seconds in each segment.
And people know in advance that they're going to be called on?
Yes,
And they select their own topics?
they do.
And what about the ones where you just throw out a topic and see how they react?
That is where the table topics master has about 5 to 6 questions, which he or she carefully prepares and is ready to throw, and he will not tell you who's going to be called. The question is given first, and then a member is selected.
And that member stands up and responds?
Yep, like
I
you
take
timed
it. I take it it's on your feet more than around the table.
me. It is on the feet, so we expect our members to at least stand up or come to the front of the room to deliver that 1 to 2 minutes. And the way you timed me, we time our speakers.
Well, we have 1 minute and 57 seconds left, so give a 1-minute pitch on why people and how they can get involved with Toastmasters with your organization.
And this is a wonderful opportunity for anyone who is looking to enhance their leadership skills, because we build leaders and we help each other out. So if you want to be part of the community, if you want to help not only your skills, if you want to mentor other individuals, become part of what we call as youth leadership program, they're all facilitated through Toastmasters. We all work together, we all have great time, and in the whole process, we learn a lot and we have fun doing that.
Sounds good to me. And we've been talking with Ravi Rai of Toastmasters, also with the state of Minnesota in an IT capacity. And this show now, fortunately, through the wonders of good equipment, is now available in 29 cities throughout the state of Minnesota, basically the southern Minnesota, although we just added Duluth this week. And welcome to all of you in Duluth. We're happy to have you on board. But again, this has been an infomercial for Toastmasters, unsolicited infomercial with Ravi Rai, who is the local district leader of District 6, which we just explained. And happy to have you with us. Welcome, and we'll bring some of your contestants, some of your people in the future and have some contests.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alan. It's a pleasure to be here.